Hi boys and girls, it's time for Apple Blossom the Possum. Tonight we only have, or today I should say, we only have one chapter to read. It's chapter 31, page 219. Grab your books and follow along with me, boys and girls. The world is different on the other side of the tunnel. There are bright lights because this is the big city. Antonio stares at all the tall structures that jet high into the sky. The trees are gone. Everything is shiny and loud, even though it's nighttime. And the air is thick with the smell of food being cooked inside the structures and garbage overflowing from the dumpsters that line the alleys. Hamlet feels his feet tingle with excitement as he blurts out, "This is positively a slice of possum heaven." Big Poss allows Antonio and Hamlet to take it all in. People moving down the cement walkways, cars motoring along the wide paths. There are lights on in nearly all the structures, and the sound of machines whirling from all directions fills the air. The possums watch as a cart pulled by a horse appears from around the corner. The mare wears a straw hat, and her oversized floppy brown ears poke through two large holes cut on the sides. Brightly colored paper flowers decorate the horse's leather harnesses, and tarnished silver bells hang from the red cord that circles her neck. A white-haired people steers the slow-moving animal down the street as cars maneuver around them. It's all fascinating and scary to the two possum brothers. Antonio is first to speak. "Mama kept a lot from us." Big Poss shrugs his shoulders. "She probably thought you weren't ready." Hamlet's voice isn't more than a whisper. "Are we ready?" Big Poss finds a way to puff his chest. "You are with Big Poss. I've got your back, but we didn't come here to sightsee. We came to find your mother. Single file, stay in the shadows. You're supporting players. Follow the lead actor." The young possums fall in behind as their father moves low, with his belly rubbing the smooth rock ground out of the drain pipe. He disappears under a sleeping car. Big Poss continues going under a monster after monster, until he reaches a metal gate and slithers inside. It is dark and foul-smelling here. Hamlet calls out, "Where are we?" Big Boss keeps his voice quiet. "It's called a sewer. Hang tough." Big Poss travels for only a short distance and then stops. Above the possums is a circle of metal. Tiny specks of light can be seen. Big Poss stands up on his back feet, lifts his arms overhead, and pushes. The metal lid moves and the night sky is revealed. "This way, ankle biters." Big Poss pulls himself out of the sewer pipe. Down below, Antonio and Hamlet rise onto their hind legs, but even standing on their tips of their toes, they can't reach. Antonio shouts, "Big Poss, we're not tall enough." Big Poss doesn't answer, but his tail lowers down into the darkness. The two brothers grab a hold and use it like a rope. When they get to the top, they see Big Poss gritting his teeth. Remember that in any situation, the answer to your problem is right around you. Always. If you don't have the right props, you improvise. And just so you know, that hurt. Big Poss moves to a line of trash cans. This is what we call the back alley, and back alleys are where dreams are made, ankle biters. Antonio and Hamlet both find the alley frightening. They see piercing eyes of rats peeking out of crevices, and they hear the sounds of monsters in the buildings. They look through the half-open door and see a shelf of fire where the villains seem to be roasting animals. But the two brothers keep moving. There is no turning back now. Big Poss is energized with every step, and it is hard to keep up with his wiggly run. But it isn't long before he lets out a whooping holler and skids to a stop. Loud music comes from the inside a tall brick structure. Antonio and Hamlet hear people stomping their feet and slapping their hands. Big Poss points overhead to a metal staircase that is attached to a brick. "We take this to the top." Antonio and Hamlet stare. The metal staircase doesn't go to the ground. It is far, far, far out of reach of any possum. Hamlet whispers, "But how?" Big Poss is more excited each moment. "Follow me." Near the staircase is a large dumpster. Big Poss is breathless with enthusiasm as he climbs up the back, hauling his two sons with him. When they reach the top of the container, which Antonio and Hamlet can see, is filled with bottles and cans and half-eaten food. Their father points to the metal stairs. This is what we call the leap of faith. We're going to jump from this dumpster to the platform. You can do it. Don't be afraid. Think of it as flying. Antonio sputters. We are possums. We don't fly. Big Paws snorts through his nose. Then think of it as falling. Without any further instruction, he shouts, Geronimo! And he flings himself out into the open air. It doesn't look like he's flying. When he lands with a loud thump at the bottom step, he then gets up and stumbles around in a circle. He is dazed, but not confused, because he hollers, Get it done, brothers! And don't look before you leap. Antonio and Amulet are more than afraid. They are terrified. But what choice do they have? Antonio turns to Amulet. Let's do it together. They join hands, shut their eyes, and jump. Amulet screams. Antonio doesn't. But they both land right on Big Paws, which is good for them, but not the greatest for the pudgy possum. He mumbles, barely able to speak. You knocked the wind right out of me. Antonio and Amulet feel awful. But the best thing about Big Paws, they realize, is that he gets over any emotion quickly. The next thing the two possums know, he's back on his feet giving orders, and they're following him up the metal stairs to the roof. Antonio means it when he says, Big Paws, you're the greatest actor of your generation. But Big Paws doesn't hear. Or if he does, he won't acknowledge it. The music gets louder the higher they climb. When they near the top, Big Paws motions for them to crouch down. You two stay here out of sight while I figure out the lay of the land. Your mother might not be excited to see you. This place is for grown-up possums and a few other four-footers that we tolerate. Amulet, please. We are on our own in the world. How much more grown-up do we need to be? Big Paws whips around and looks on his face, and the look on his face tells Antonio and Amulet to do what they are told and to keep their bellies low to the metal stairs. Big Paws doesn't seem to be thinking about saving Apple Blossom right now. His fingers are twitching and his tail is thumping, and just before he goes over the low wall onto the roof, he calls back to his two sons. I love the nightlife. I love the boogie. Antonio and Amulet can't help themselves. They rise to their feet to watch. It is a sight to see. A large blinking light that looks like a green bottle is positioned on one side of a long rectangular space. High in the sky is a full moon casting a glow down onto the area, which is filled with dancing animals. A one-eyed cat watches from a corner, and rows of bats swinging to the beat hang upside down on the wires that crisscross overhead. Moths mixed with hundreds of fireflies buzz directly above, and they are clearly feeling the rhythm. Big Paws works his way towards the grating crowd. He gives a wave to the cat, and he gets a meow back. He tips his finger to the raccoon in the corner, shelling peanuts. And then, just as he approaches the throng of possums, the music below changes, and Big Paws' eyes go wide. He jumps up onto the large metal box where everyone can now see him. Antonio and Amulet are fascinated as Big Paws holds his chin higher than his ears and sings to the moon, and also to the raccoon in the corner eating peanuts. He moves back and forth on his hind legs, and his tail beats rhythmically in a way that seems out of his control. This much is clear. Big Paws is a major croner. Antonio and Amulet stare at the crowd. As Big Paws keeps singing, the swell of animals part to let one wiggly possum really show her stuff. The other dancing possums stamp with squeal with appreciation, and the twisting, wild thing turns so that Antonio and Amulet can see her face. Right there in the center of everything, gliding and sliding and captivating the crowd, is their mother. All right, boys and girls, we are stopping there for today. We will read the next chapter the following day, so I hope you guys have a great day.